440 people per day suffer a stroke in this country. Someone suffers a stroke every 4 minutes.
I fell and I just said, "Hoe could ek nou geval?" And my sister sprang up and she came and then she saw me lying in a very strange position and she said, "This is a stroke." I don't want to be independent with someone. I want to be independent by myself. If somebody can help me through, I wish I can just come right.
When people suffer a stroke, there's a high probability that the hand functioning will be impaired. So we find that stroke survivors that have disability, more than 60% of them suffer some sort of upper limb impairment or deficits.
Given the fact that a lot of the stroke rehabilitation of post-severe happens at rehabilitation centres, either Western Cape Rehab, Kritiski Hospital, Tygerberg, when they leave and come back into the community, there isn't often the same kind of access to rehabilitation. So people get a 3 to 4 weeks of day-to-day physical therapy, and then they come back into their home environments, and the environment's very different. Because ultimately, you've had a stroke, you've had a severe, and then your life changes. You were a driver, you suddenly are dependent on someone to drive you around. Just not being able to do that leisure activity changes the way they feel about participating in the world. So I definitely think technological advancements can help, and making it more accessible and affordable in our country.
reScribe is a hand exoskeleton that fits over the hand, similar to a glove, to rehabilitate finger movement and hand movement. So when we sat down and thought about reScribe and the potential as a medical device system, a lot of our attention was on providing a solution that could really talk to that problem of access to therapists.
We have about 90 to 95% of medical devices imported, and all those leads into the tax money of the people. So I believe that only by making locally manufactured medical devices, we could reduce the deficit that comes because of importing.
Our aim is to use fine motor therapy using handwriting in order to build up more fine motor control that can be used in several activities of daily life, including handwriting, but also things like picking up objects and feeding yourself. Hand exoskeleton is able to actuate the 3 joints on the fingers, whereas most other devices just actuate one finger as one unit. So our device is able to give you that fine motor control by repetitive handwriting therapy. After visiting stroke patients, I've seen how they have suffered and how much they've lost. They've lost their independence. Using our device, we really hope we can get them to a point where they're able to take care of themselves again and possibly continue to work. It's always an amazing feeling when you manage to build something, but when it actually finally gets out there and it is in the hands of people you're trying to help, it brings a lot of joy to you.
While we were doing research, we realized that patients and therapists are physically constrained to each other during rehabilitation. The therapist has to be physically constrained to the patient to assist the patient in performing the various exercises that they do. So the idea behind this is that a therapist can use the mobile phone to remotely initiate rehabilitation routines. The therapist would operate a mobile phone and be in a different geographical location and initiate rehabilitation routines on the patient through the rehabilitation system.
With the stroke patient, it's been proven that if you have an intention to do something and you can't execute the intention, if you have an external device that completes the intention for you, the feedback that it provides to your brain enables your rehabilitation to progress much faster.
So this device is really focused on rehabilitating specifically fine motor control. It's the ability to use your fingers and hands in a task-specific way.
reScribe has the ability to guide the client to what they need to do to complete the task. So I at least know that I can set them up, I can see how it works for them. Is it easy for them to manage? Do they understand how this technology works? And if that's all okay, I can actually set them up on one side and continue with another client on another side.
Or the future goal that we have with this system in mind is that rehabilitation can be shifted from a clinical setting to a home setting.